Hello, Ramley and other family. I'm Payo Time. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And today, I am so stoked. I am joined by none other than Rams Insider. He's going to be coming on real shortly. Want to offer a friendly reminder. And I am running a contest. You have to sign up before the first playoff game today to make it in. We're up to 27 people in there. So if you want to join the playoff challenge, check the rules in the description below. You can have a chance to win a $50 gift card to Fanatics to get yourself some sweet Rams merch or whatever team that is you follow. Anyway, we're going to talk about this, the playoffs, the Rams, everything going on. And it all starts as soon as I find the button to roll that intro. Yes, here we go. Welcome in, Rams Insider. How are you doing today, man?
I am amazing. Glad to be here once again, to be here on another live stream, another Rams live stream on top of that. And it's another game. We got a game on Monday. So now it's time to talk about it again.
Absolutely. And we got to give a couple of shout outs. We got some people watching already. Really appreciate you guys coming on in to talk some Rams today. We got Hayden in the house. Hey, Hayden. I would love to stream all the games, but I'm not at that level of a content creator yet. But maybe one day I'll be on that level. Jared, good to see you as well. We got Hayden's 2 days of chilling with you and my dog. Thanks, Hayden. We got Rival Comics coming on in. And Jared is having a good time. Oh, Jared, we are glad you are here. And if we have a couple of things planned out that we're going to talk about. But if at any point in time you guys have a question or comment, we're going to try and be as engaging as possible. Just like the title above says, this is Rams fans talking Rams. If you're a fan of another team, you can still talk to us. But as long as you know, we're talking about the Rams. So Rams Insider, let's start off. First off, we got to get you to plug your channel. You got some stuff going on. The link to your channel is in the description below, and I'm going to double check to make sure I did that because I did it early this morning. So I always got to double check. I'm pretty sure I did though. It will be there. But while I'm doing that, tell our viewers, what do you got going on your channel?
So hello everybody, my name is Rams Insider. I'm also a Rams YouTuber, just like Payo Time. I do Rams content. Unless there's breaking news on any other team, I'll do that. But besides that, it's Rams breakdowns, trades, contracts, things I like, things I don't like, things that I think should be changed, things that I think are perfectly the way they are. A lot of things, considering that the Rams are a team that can go either way. So it's fun to see how I can have my opinion set on what I think, and just to have other Rams fans and other Rams YouTubers thoughts on that is really cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And shout out here, Dan Dealer's chat coming on in to you, good sir. And then the Sports Star, shout out to you. You're also here. And I did check. I was on my game today. The link to Rams Insider is in the description below. Make sure to go give him a sub. Yeah, I'm something that always interests me, and I'm very blessed. I get to collaborate with a lot of Rams YouTubers. Is we could all be talking about the same thing and have different opinions on it. It's fascinating. It's what I appreciate about being a content creator, fan for a team like the Rams, is there's literally always something to talk about. Whether it's Les Snead making a big roster move, Sean McVay and something that's going on with him, one of the players putting up a ridiculous game like Cooper Kupp. And it's a lot of fun to cover this team. And something I appreciate. So yesterday I did a live stream with the Ramillion Sports Report, who, he's 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 from LA. He's a little bit of an older Rams fan, and then I myself, I'm a fan of the Rams. I know, like, me and like Rams Showcase, we became kind of fans, and even like Jake Ellenbogen around, say that, like, the greatest show on turf era, somewhere in there. But then, for someone like you're last time we talked, you're a pretty new fan to the Rams, and I appreciate you having a different experience and perspective. So I'd like to just start with that. How have you enjoyed this season as a whole, as a Rams fan? And, has it been, obviously we've had the ups and downs and the 3-game losing streak that was not fun, but how have you enjoyed this experience?
Definitely. Besides last year losing to the Packers, I say since then I've gotten much more connected with the team.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to see how to take a loss, I think that's a really important thing for all fans to know. How to take a loss, because I think sometimes winning. What one of the things I learned at first was winning too much can get boring,
Yeah.
and when you lose once in a while, it makes you take a step back to actually realize what's going on here. Like, you're not just win, win, win. You have win, win, loss. Okay, how can we improve? And being a Rams YouTuber to start that off too is I've seen a lot of different things. Now, I haven't seen it with your channel, but I've seen it with my channel. One thing I've noticed is that if I say something about the Rams that I don't like, I get criticized for it. I've noticed that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. What I've seen with my Eric Weddle video, I clearly stated I didn't like this move, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Yo, calm down! Like, why are you so mad?" When I was laughing the entire video, so I don't know
Yeah.
where they got that from. But everybody was like, "Why is he hating on this move?" I'm not hating on it. It's just that I'm a Rams fan, and I want to be a realistic Rams fan. So I'm not gonna say that every move we make was the greatest move on earth. If I don't like it, I'm gonna say I don't like it. So
Yeah.
it's just I don't have an issue with it. It's just that it was all new to me. Oh, he doesn't like this move. It's not that I hate it. It's just, I didn't think it was a good move. Like, what do you want me to say? So I
No,
mean, yeah.
and it's funny because I remember watching your video, and I very much commented on it jokingly,
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, I hope you eat those words about Weddle." Or I think I said, "I hope you have to make an apology video to Eric Weddle," which I will hold you to if he balls out. In the unlikely scenario that he starts like every snap and gets like 5 interceptions, I will definitely be like, "Hey, you got to post a video apologizing to Eric Weddle," which I'm sure you would gladly do if he
Yeah, I would
balled
do
out.
it.
Yeah. Let's give a couple more shout outs here. We got Willie in the house here. Sorry, my mouse is acted up. There we go. It's on a solid surface now. We got Willie in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, we need a victory. We got I can never pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. It's Dr. Drimick Smith, the M&M Mix fan. That's so fun. That's a fun name. It's a fun name. Good to see you all. Yeah, he's getting ready for the Bengals Raiders game. But Willie has a good comment here. He's saying winning is the key in sports. Example: the more the LA Rams win, they have a shot at a Super Bowl championship. Yeah, and I think that I think that something that is interesting about this team is we aren't your traditional team where you build through the draft and maybe you have a couple of free agent signings, right? We traded a lot to get our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We made in-season trades to get Von Miller. We signed OBJ, and there's just this kind of collective thought that the Rams are this super team or anything like that. And I definitely think the Rams have some big names on it, but there's still a team that has to show up each game. They have to put up points. They have to run the ball effectively. They have to play good defense. They have to, make plays like any other team. So I don't necessarily consider them a super team. I consider them a star-studded team for sure. They have recognizable names on them, but anyway, Rams Insider, what are your thoughts on the in-season acquisitions of Von Miller and OBJ at this point in the season? Well, now we're past the season into the playoffs.
I thought that Von at first, until the last, I'll say 4 games of the season, I thought that Von Miller was a waste of a trade. Now, I thought that because he wasn't doing anything for the first 2, 3, 4 games, and he wasn't producing. He had 1 sack in I think the first 3 games, and it just didn't seem like it wasn't a good trade in my eyes. Because what are we wasting? I understand it's Von Miller. I can understand that's veteran talent, but at the same time, not all veteran talent pays off, and that can't escalate to where now we're in the playoffs. We're escalating to the playoffs now, and he still only has 1 sack through the entire playoff run. And then we get to the Super Bowl, he has no sacks. Like that can't happen. And then as far as OBJ, he was a good steal. I feel like we got him, and he had 600 receiving yards by the time he was with us, and I feel like that was good. Like he paid off. He paid off immensely from what everybody else he thought he was gonna do. In my comment section, when I made the video saying that we signed OBJ, everybody was like, just wait a month. He'll say he wants out because he's not getting enough targets. He's going to want out in a month. There's going to be an article saying that OBJ is going to want to leave now. Like there were so many comments saying that OBJ was a waste of time, but there wasn't a lot of comments saying that Von Miller was a waste of time. So, I mean, it just goes back and forth because I think a big reason is because OBJ has had a issue with his anger, with his selfishness between getting the targets. So yeah, I'm happy that they're both on our team now, but definitely in the beginning, I did not like what I saw.
Yeah, and it's interesting, you bring up the comment sections about like your OBJ video because I had a lot of that too of like, oh, just wait, like train wreck, like all Rams locker rooms going south fast, right? Like, and all these comments came in. The reality is OBJ's been a great locker room guy for the Rams, and I think that speaks well to the Rams culture as a team. And he's been effective to us. Now, I know you feel the same way I do about the deep ball to OBJ just has not been working, and we either need to get them on the same page or just not do it anymore because I'm sick of these arm punts by Stafford to OBJ that turns into an interception. I don't want any more of that in the playoffs. Couple of shout outs here. We and Ravel, I'm not avoiding your question. We will definitely get to that. That's a juicy one. Tommy Huxley's chilling there, getting a workout in. Hope you're working out well. Ricardo's here. And we also got Mike in the house. Good to see you. And everyone, if you smash that like button, really helps me out. Make sure you go subscribe to Rams Insider. Link in the description below. And so Ravel asked this comment here, and I'd love to hear from you in the chat. But let's hear from Rams Insider here. Do you trust Stafford in the playoffs?
Yes and no. It's yes if we're talking about which team it is. 1, 2, how we're gonna play as in our play style, and 3, what quarter is this? Because if we're talking first and second, no. But if we're talking third and fourth, possibly. Because we've seen that in the first and second quarter, Matthew Stafford doesn't know what he's doing. We've seen that multiple times. We've seen that against the Titans. We've seen that. Well, the Titans was kind of all 4 quarters, but we've seen that against the Titans. We've seen that against the Niners twice. So we've seen that over and over again. And like you said, the deep ball to OBJ is not working. Now, what I will say is that when you said that OBJ was a nice fit, now he should know whatever team he goes to now, he's not the number 1 receiver anymore. That's down settled. Unless he's going to like the Jets, Texans, whatever. But I trust Matthew Stafford that he's gonna know what he's doing against the Cardinals coming up because he's already faced them, so experiences. But at the same time, I don't trust him against Green Bay. I don't trust anyone on that team against Green Bay because it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's just Aaron Rodgers. We've seen what he does over and over and over. It's A-Rod. It's so hard to pass him. And on top of that, you have the Packers defense. You have Aaron Jones. Devontae is still there, and you have I forgot his name, but he came back to the Packers. So now you have an elite team, probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL right now to go up against. If you make it there, one. And I don't trust that he's going to be 100% this playoff run. He not as in healthy, but like knowing what he's doing. I don't think he's going to know everything. I don't think he's going to be able to carry the team per se. I think it's going to be more of who's around him as a whole. And at the same time, we know he can't run. He can't run. He's not mobile. And the offensive line isn't that good. So, I mean, it's not that I don't trust him, the only person I don't trust, but definitely the team around him needs to improve.
Well, and And I think I would if I'm asked the question point blank, do I trust Stafford in the playoffs? I my instant reaction to that question is I don't necessarily trust Stafford by himself, but I do trust Stafford with Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay and OBJ and Van Jefferson. And I do believe this offensive line can play at an elite level. We've seen it some games this year where they don't give up any sacks, and they've played teams with good pass rush. But then there's other games like against the Niners where they gave up 5 sacks, right? And I really do believe if this coaching staff can put Stafford and the rest of the Rams players in a position to succeed, I believe this team can beat anyone in the NFC. I really do. Be it the Cardinals this week or the Packers or the Niners, anyone. Now, in contrast, I also believe that if we have those 1 or 2 plays, especially in playoff football, that it can come down to where we get the play call wrong, or there's a stupid timeout, or something like that. Those can be costly mistakes, and so I would say I don't trust Stafford to put the game on his shoulders by himself, and I think he got so used to doing that in Detroit, where he didn't necessarily have the best receivers all the time, even though he had some good ones. He didn't always have a an offense that would allow him to take the check down or throw the ball away, right? Like we rarely see Stafford throw the ball away, right? And there's definitely some of those plays you wish he would just roll it to the right and throw, get out of the pocket and throw it away. Gotta give a shout out here because I appreciate whenever he comes in. _NFL AZ Cardinals. He is clearly going for the Cardinals here. Yeah. So glad you are here, my friend. Willie's saying Odell Beckham clutch reception in Baltimore. Yeah, that was a clutch reception. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we got Jade, a Vikings YouTuber, rooting for the Rams on Monday. Thank you, Jade, aka Hip Hip Lady. Oh man, we got lots of people in here. But before we get to more comments and questions from you guys, and Willie, of course, I'm not going to forget Big Rig Hig. I thought it'd be fun is the LA Rams YouTube channel. I'm quite critical of it. However, yesterday they put out this video. It's a minute long. We're gonna watch it and react to it. I forget. Have you seen this yet?
I don't think so. I think I probably skipped it. I don't know.
Okay. This is probably one of the best videos the Rams YouTube channel has ever put out. So we got here. This is their playoff hype trailer, and everyone in the chat, let me know what you think. I'm pumped about this. Okay.
Just put the whole league on notice. There's 3. If I were a GM, would I make this trade? Rams will bounce back and play better.
The road home.
Narrated by Robert Woods.
And as the story has been written, a lot has been said along the way.
Matt Stafford to the Rams.
All men are created equal, but the Lions and Rams have put added value on one human.
Cam Akers tearing his Achilles.
Love Robert Woods. You don't ever replace a player like him.
The Rams were dominated.
And this story isn't written yet.
Von Miller goes to the Rams defense.
This is massive. The already loaded Rams got just a little more loaded.
I think the hype is overhyped.
This is just a case of the rich getting richer when it comes to the Rams.
We know our role and where it ends. At home. So let them talk and keep moving forward. Because in February, we have one goal. Bring it home.
Whoa. Chills, right?
That's shivering.
Yeah. I love that they got Robert Woods to narrate that, even though he's injured. And he's got such a a perfect, just quiet, confident voice to just, bring it home. Bring it home. I love it. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was pretty. The editing was just wow. I didn't think that. I've seen them edit, but not like that before.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. It was definitely really good.
Yeah, no, I was. He said that was whack. Yeah, of course, from a Cardinals fans. But you know what? Let's get into this Cardinals and Rams game after we're hyped up from this epic trailer to bring us into the playoffs. What are you hoping to see from the Rams in this Rams Cardinals game? Besides a win, obviously.
I'm hoping to see that the defense can stop Kyler from running. That's my main concern. I know DeAndre's not playing this game, so that's a really good benefit. I know that JJ's injured, so that's also a good benefit. But at the same time, Kyler has legs, and Stafford doesn't have legs. And Aaron Donald is not the only person on that defense. He's not going to do everything. And I can understand he's a superstar, whatever, but he needs help around him. No matter how good a player is, everyone needs a supportive roster around him. And at the same time, our secondary should be pretty good this game. Now, I don't know if you guys already heard of this, but I just got a news report 3 minutes ago saying that Taylor Rapp is out with a concussion. I don't know if you guys can see that. That just came to me. He's out with a concussion. So Eric Weddle is going to be on the active roster, which I think is going to make the secondary a little worse considering he's 37 versus a 20-year-old. So it's just that Kyler Murray not running can possibly let us win this game.
Well, and I think what I've kind of been saying, I said it in my my vlog in the cold this morning, is I believe that in order to stop Kyler Murray, it's going to be on our pass rush. It's going to be on Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Deshaun Robinson, all these Rams pass rushers to get after him. And I think if the Rams, can play a little bit of ball hog to win this game, I think that would go well for him. But yeah, I Taylor Rapp, the reality is, it sucks that he's out with a concussion. We definitely hope he can heal well. Concussion, you just never know how long they're going to be out for with that. So it's such a weird injury that way. But I'm optimistic. Did you get a chance to look at the Eric Weddle 45-minute interview at all?
No, I did not.
So I watched the whole thing, and at first I'm like, why? Like, okay, I get like Eric Weddle. He was a huge name at the prime of his career. And he played for the Rams a couple of seasons ago. But I was like, why does he get a 45-minute interview or whatever? And I guess he was willing to do it, and the media kept asking him questions, which kudos to him for doing that. But it was cool. He recognizes what an opportunity it is. He's definitely in the right headspace. And now it's just a question of, is his body still at football speed? And so I'll be curious to see how he performs. I got to give a shout out here, Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. I had a great collaboration with him and Sean on Thursday to get me ready for Rams Insider. I believe you're signed up for the Payo Time community contest too, aren't you?
Yeah.
What would you buy from Fanatics if you won the $50 gift card?
A shirt. I need something other than this hoodie. I need a shirt, a hat, a headband, whatever. I need something that's not this hoodie anymore. I've worn this so much. Not that it's like outworn, but I want something different. Like your shirt. Like you have it's tank top. Yeah, like something like that. I need something different.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I gotta give a shout out to Tommy Huxley, Trash Talking Tommy, always active in the chat. He is a huge 49ers fan, and he said the Cards are gonna win Monday. I hate to say it, I hate them. Well, Tommy, I hope you're wrong. Willie has a comment here. He's saying if the running game isn't working, then Stafford throw to the best wide receiver in the NFL. Yeah, you know what? I feel like as good as Cooper Kupp has been, I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about him coming into this game, and they're just like, oh yeah, Cooper Kupp is going to go for over 100 yards and probably get a touchdown because that's just what Cooper Kupp does. But what are your thoughts on Kupp's historic season, and the reality is, are we desperate for Kupp to make plays to win this game?
I wouldn't say desperate, but I know for sure it's going to be harder to get it to Cooper because everybody knows who Cooper is now. And on top of that, he's might be the best receiver to some people. He might be the second best because a lot of people still think it's D-Hop. If I have asked some people, a lot of people think it's D-Hop. A lot of people think it's Devontae Adams. But now we know for a fact if Cooper is going to be getting 100 yards a game, getting 100 yards next game, he's gonna be double covered this game. We've seen that in the Vikings game. He was double covered for majority of the time, and we have to figure out a way to not have the ball only go to Cup because eventually that's gonna grow old, and everybody's gonna know how to beat us now. So maybe throw in Sony Michel. I don't know if I want to put Cam Akers in there because he just came back, so I don't want to risk it too much. But at the same time, maybe Sony and then maybe try and get the ball to Van Jefferson. Like, let him step up for once. I feel like he's good, but we don't use him as much as I would want him to. Like we've seen in the Cardinals game, he went off that game. He had a bomb for a touchdown. That was pretty cool. And to have Cooper as the number one receiver is fine. I don't know if I would put him as the best receiver in the NFL because I don't want to be biased just because he had one amazing season. But at the same time, I think he might be. And he's going to be double covered. So we have to find a way to get that rushing game and definitely utilize the number 3 receivers more because 2 is usually always covered as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, having guys like Van and Big Hig getting involved in the passing game is important. OBJ and even Sony Michel and Cam Akers out of the backfield, taking the dump off here and there is never a bad way to go. We got a question here from our Cardinals fan, and he's saying, if you guys guess the player of the game on Monday for the Rams, who would y'all pick? One on offense and one on defense. Great question. Do you want to take this one first? Let's start with defense. We'll go offense. Okay, so I think defense here. I think this is an Aaron Donald game. He's done really well against the Cardinals his whole career, and I think that if someone on defense were to ball out, the writing is on the wall for Aaron Donald to have one of those special performances that we've seen him have against the Cardinals.
Defense. See, I know Aaron Donald. He's probably going to get a sack this game. Wow, this is kind of tough to decide. There's so many players to choose from. Maybe Leonard Floyd if he's healthy. Probably because outside linebackers don't get a lot of credit. I mean, I know TJ Watt does, but outside linebackers don't get a lot of respect that interior linemen or left ends or right ends like Myles Garrett would. So maybe Leonard Floyd, because Leonard Floyd got a pick last game when we faced the Cardinals. He got a pick, and he almost took it to the end zone for pick 6. But Leonard Floyd can do so much more if Aaron Donald wasn't in the way all the time. And it's just there's so much energy and there's talent that he has that can definitely be used more. Like I said with Van, there's more talent there that we could use. Maybe swap him around. Like I think it was when Aaron Donald had his 20 sack season. We moved AD to I think left end, and he still was producing, even if he wasn't a defensive tackle. So maybe we can move Leonard Floyd to like a coverage linebacker or a pass rushing linebacker that can swap in and out. Maybe a pass coverage linebacker. Now I think about it, maybe Leonard Floyd can get some more tackles and he can possibly get another pick. And
the reality is, if we are going to be able to control the run, Leonard Floyd would be one of those players to step up in that role. Absolutely. For offense, I really think that this could be a Sony Michel or Cam Akers, depending on how involved Cam is. I think the Rams running game has the opportunity just because that has been a weakness of the Cardinals as of late. I think that one of them could be the player of the game on offense. It wouldn't surprise me to see someone like Van or OBJ or even Cup. You just expect him to have a good game. But yeah, is there a particular person on offense you think could be the player of the game?
I want to agree with you with the rushing attack. I really do. I think that our receivers can also develop really good, but at the same time, the Cardinals have a good defense. Byron Murphy, Budda Baker. Their secondary is there. It's very well known that they have a good secondary. But the pass rushing for the Cardinals, at least, is kind of not there. I mean, I know they have a pass rush, but Chandler Jones is really all they have, and J.J. Watt is injured. So on top of that, maybe the rushing game can get a little more. They could produce a little more here. Now, I don't think it's going to be Cam Akers. Cam Akers is going to get, I want to say, max 5 carries. It's too risky to put him in this early. And to have him going, especially the whole game, he could get injured so fast all over again. And that's just not a risk I want to take. So I would say probably Sony. And if it's going to be a receiver, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to say OBJ because why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's a buffet of good receivers, buffet of talent on the Rams wide receiving core. Okay, we gotta give we got Reddy in the house. Good to see you as always, my friend. Willie here. He's saying don't go by age, go by experience, and he follows up with Eric Weddle gave Peyton Manning fits when he played on the Chargers, and you have to credit Weddle that his football IQ, no one's questioning that, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one. I fully expect him. It seems like he's been staying in shape. In his 45-minute interview, he talked about how he's he lives a very active lifestyle. He's still in football shape.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, can he play at a football speed? Because that's very different than playing like pick up basketball with your friends, which he talked about. But yeah, like. From the plays getting called defense, the coverages, the checks, things like that. I'm not worried about Weddle in any of that regards. What I'm concerned about Weddle is if Kyler Murray is gonna see let's say a Christian Kirk in the slot, and he hits him on the slant route, and Eric Weddle is the one that has to make that tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Can he make that open field tackle to avoid him going for a touchdown or getting that first down? Those are what I'm concerned about Weddle in those moments. And kudos to him. He has the opportunity to prove himself and that he can still do this. And he knows he's only here for at max 4 games. Assuming the Rams would make the Super Bowl. But he also knows that if we lose, he's done. Like his career's done, right? That's why he's coming out of retirement.
So do you think he's going to be able to know what to do but not execute it?
That's a good way of putting it, actually. Yeah. Like I have every faith that someone as experienced as Weddle and as knowledgeable as he is, he'll know what to do, but executing it is definitely the concern. Yeah, that's well said. Well said. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Rogue Radio cheering on the Cowboys. Looking forward to that game, that Cowboys-Niners game, definitely. Willie, then there's Van Jefferson. Oh yeah, talking about the receiving options there. Steven, hello. He just wants another crack at the Niners. Yeah, okay, I'd love to hear your take on this. Okay, so say we won this game. Are you hoping? I feel like the Ramley is divided. Some are like me, where we want another crack at the Super Bowl. Me and Steven are kind of like this. We want another chance at the Niners. We think we can beat them. But then, in contrast, I hear other Ram fans that are like, hey, it's just not a good matchup. We'd rather the Cowboys beat them and we play other teams in the playoffs. But what's your mindset in regards to possibly, seeing the Niners again in the playoffs?
Let's see here. You want to know the most simple answer, Payo? We had chances and we lost every single one. That's good enough for me. I don't want to face I don't want to face them ever again. I don't want to face them ever again. We lost 6 in a row. I'm done. I'm done with the 49ers. They own us. I'm done. I don't want to face them again.
And see, I'm of the mindset of like, okay, we've lost 6 in a row. We're due. We got to break.
If we lose to them in the playoffs, that's it. Like there's no other cracks.
I know, but how sweet would it be if we beat them in the playoffs?
But that's too big of a risk.
Yeah, but no, go big or go, dude. The whole Rams we traded Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks for Matthew Stafford. Was that a risk?
Yeah, but we knew how good he was.
Yeah. When the Rams traded all those picks for Von Miller, was that a risk?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. This whole, we're all in, baby, right?
I don't know.
But no,
I wouldn't want to do it.
No, I honestly do appreciate the perspective, and I can do that. But I really I don't want to be beaten by the Niners again, and I would love to beat the Niners in the playoffs because I think we can. I really do. But anyway, shout out to the Jag Roar podcast. Congrats to your Jaguars on getting that huge win over the Colts on Sunday. No one saw coming, so kudos to you. Andrew with the Jaguar podcast, great content creator. Another great question here. If you guys were allowed to take away one player from playing on Monday for the Cards, who would y'all pick? Ooh.
Kyler, that's an easy win. Kyler, take him out.
You're taking Kyler.
Take him out.
Yeah, get Colt McCoy, their backup quarterback.
But let's say you couldn't pick a quarterback, then who would you pick?
I would go Buda Baker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say Buda Baker. And yeah, the reality is that that Cards team is a good team. They have playmakers, and if you can take away any of those playmakers, then there. But at the same time, you want to beat the best, right? That's what I say. And I do hope. I know Edmonds and Connor, both their running backs, are game time decisions. Right. So I hope they're healthy enough to play, because otherwise that's a huge blow for the Cards.
Me personally, I wouldn't want to take away Buddha. I would want to take away Christian Kirk. Now, the reason I say that, Christian Kirk burned us last game. He was going off the last time he played on Monday. And you saw when we were beating them, all they needed was one touchdown. He had a 40-yard bomb in panic time. He threw a 40-yard bomb to Christian. I don't want to take that risk again. So I would take out probably his best receiver.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Shout out to Richard and Greg and a green substance. Welcome in, guys. Glad you're all here. Friendly reminder, everyone, smash that like button and make sure to subscribe to Rams Insider. Link to his channel is in the description below. Rival comes in here with another great question. Do you think we've been given do you think we haven't been giving Odell a lot of targets because we wanted to take all the attention off of him and use him more? I think. Okay, wait. Sorry, he rephrases the question here. Do you think we haven't been given Odell the ball a lot because we wanted to take all the attention off him and use him a lot more in the playoffs? Interesting. Rams conspiracy theories activate. I like it, Rival. I don't know. Do you have any initial thoughts here, Rams Insider?
I don't think we haven't given the ball to Odell enough. I think that coming to LA, I think that the main goal is to get Cooper over Megatron's record for this season. And to do that, you can't give it to the other wide receivers as much as you would want to. And if we weren't going to try and break his record, then yeah, I would say that we probably haven't given the ball to Odell enough. Maybe we would try and get him to 700 receiving yards instead of 600, because 700 I feel like is decent. 600 kind of teetering. So if Cooper Kupp wasn't popping off as much as he was, let's say he was last year's Cooper, still 1,000-yard receiver, but not almost hitting 2,000 receiving yards. So if it was last year's Cooper, then I think Odell would have took a huge step up for this season. But I do agree with this. I think that we probably shouldn't use him a lot in the regular season, because then people are going to know what to expect in the playoffs. And if we use him a lot in the playoffs, then it's a whole new experience. Okay, you have a new team in the playoffs. You have a new receiver coming into our team, and you don't know at all what the game plan is for this specific receiver, because you've been seeing that. So we're using Cooper all game. You haven't seen OBJ yet, and now we're going to use OBJ in the playoffs. So it's a whole new experience. I definitely think that Odell should be prioritized in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's necessarily a plan. The reality is Odell came in mid-season. The Rams offense is a complex offense. It's not as simple as what people think. It is a lot of smoke and mirrors and misdirection that, it takes time to learn it, to get accustomed to it. And I would say OBJ has done really well for coming in the way he did. Right. And even the fact that he signed and played 2 days later. He literally had one person walk out on the field. In the NFL, that just isn't. So I give a lot of credit to OBJ, and it wouldn't shock me if he did get more involved in the playoffs. just for the sole reason of it's been a natural progression. I know a lot of Ram fans, and I'm one of them, would love to see OBJ on a jet sweep. I don't get it why. Like we'll put Van on a jet sweep or a motion. We'll put Cup on it, but we used to put Woods on it like all the time.
Yeah.
We have never seen OBJ go in motion or on a sweep, and I'm wondering if it's still that learning the offense or something like that. But we'll see. We will see. Well, we got lots of comments coming in here. This is awesome. Willie is saying the LA Rams offensive line creates the running game with good blocking and open up holes in the Arizona. Yeah, that's something the Cardinals are weak against. Soulless here. Hello. He's got a question here. Do you believe Stafford will tighten up his mistakes in the during the playoffs and throw less interceptions? What do you think?
As far as interceptions go, definitely I think they're going to be lessened because only 4 games, and to mess up that much, but in 4 games, that's going to be bad. To mess up that much in 4 games, it's going to be like you're trying to get Stafford to be able to have a perfect record 4-0 throughout the playoffs and then get to the Super Bowl and still not throw a pick. I think he might throw a pick in the Super Bowl if we get there. I do think that if we make it to the Packers, he's also going to throw an interception. And for the ability to be able to tighten up with his mistakes, that's going to take a huge amount of energy and focus and anticipation, because Stafford will make so many mistakes and still win the game somehow. But those mistakes, just because you won, doesn't mean that you can make those mistakes again. That can't be that way. As far as interceptions are going to be less, but I think the mistakes are probably going to stay there.
Yeah, I'm of the mindset of the playoffs. It's a new season. Nothing that happened in the regular season matters anymore. Like, we can celebrate it, we can focus on it, but where your defense ranks, your offense ranks, who led the league in touchdowns, interceptions. We've seen, we've seen players like Rex Grossman go to the Super Bowl. We've seen players. Rodgers been knocked out of the conference championships the past 3 years. And it can come down to one play, right? One play. And you hope it's not a reffing mistake, because that's definitely happened. And you hope that your offense shows up and your defense balls out. I'm of the mindset of, because when you actually look at Stafford's interceptions, definitely not all of them are on him. Some of them you can actually blame on McVay for putting him in some situations that were less than ideal, especially some of his pick sixes. But I am of the mindset that I think that McVay is dialed in. I think that Stafford is dialed in. And the reality is, and whenever the Rams haven't turned the ball over, they've won every single game this year. And isn't that crazy? You don't turn the ball over, your team wins. Like, whoa, what a concept! So I'm optimistic that he will tighten up. That being said, if we do have a turnover or two, I'm hoping that our defense can get us back in it. Like we did against the Ravens this year, and that we can have those, come from behind victories if need be. And I think we're in for some nail biter tight games. And the first one I believe is going to be against the Cardinals. I don't see this being a blowout game.
No.
I see this being a battle. I kind of go back and forth on my score prediction of it, but I kind of think this could go OT. I'm looking at this as like a 27-24 type of game against the Cardinals. But what do you think, Rams Insider?
Definitely not going to be a blowout. Like you said, it's the team that we're going against is too good for it to be a blowout, and we have too many mistakes for it to be a blowout. And on top of that, you have a coach who's really good at his job. You have a really good quarterback who can run lights out. You have receivers, although they're injured. You have Christian Kirk, who we know what Christian Kirk can do. As far as making it past difficult opponents, I would say that the Cardinals are a tough opponent, But I still stick to Green Bay being our toughest game this season, if we can even make it that far. Because I explained that earlier. Aaron Rodgers is just lights out every single game, no matter what he does. And that can be so insufficient to our team. It could waste so much of our time and energy doing the same thing. And I think that a big thing that we have to learn how to stop doing is going deep all the time, because we've seen it doesn't work. When we go deep every single play, the OBJ arm punts that you talked about, they don't work. When Stafford is panicking and he threw to Ben Skronik in double coverage, that didn't work. And one thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this too, when he did throw it to OBJ in the 49er game when he got picked off, did you notice that Sony Michel was wide open in the flat?
I didn't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, and that's really annoying.
Yeah, I saw the film study breakdown, and it showed a wide view. So I want to say it was like the very top of the stadium, and they did a wide view shooting down, and you can see OBJ running, and Sony Michel was standing right there, like with his hands out, saying, "I got the ball, I have it, I'm wide open." And he was right there.
And it is frustrating because OBJ did beat his man. It's just a matter of Stafford underthrew it. And so it's one of those things that, hopefully we forget about it in time and, we can move on from it, but it still stings because it just happened last week. La Savage Gamer has, can the Rams beat the Packers in the playoffs? And I'm of the mindset of any team can beat any team in the playoffs. Playoff football is its own breed of football. We've seen upset all the time. And the reality is, the Packers have lost in the conference championships the past 3 years, and it's normally because of one play or a bad call by the Packers and LaFleur. So we'll see. But I don't know if the Rams had to play the Packers, go into Lambeau Field. Do you have some kind of scale that you would say your confidence level in the Rams beating the Packers in Lambeau?
If we're in Lambeau, very low. I just don't have the confidence that I feel like I should have for that game. In Lambeau, even though I know it was Jared Goff, we still had pretty good competition against Green Bay, even with Jared Goff. And I think Matthew Stafford, it is a huge upgrade, but at the same time, it's the same roster. It's still Cooper Kupp, even though he's better. It's still Van, it's still Cam, it's still Darrell Henderson. It's still everybody. And if we stick to the same game plan, we're going to mess up in the second half, and that's when A-Rod is probably going to make that game a blowout. I do think that we have a slight chance to win if we could switch up the game plan for once. That would be a huge advantage because we've seen the Packers can't really stop the run. I've noticed that a little bit, a few times. The secondary is really good with Jair Alexander. You would have to have a bunch of misdirection and bootlegs and a lot of play actions too. I feel like play actions work kind of the best with our team. I think that play actions are a specialty. So I think that can be used to our advantage. But yeah, a low possibility for Green Bay. But if we could switch up the game plan for once, that could take off.
And something that, I would push back a little bit just on the sense of people forget when we played the Packers, Stafford turned the ball over twice that gave them 14 points. We still came back and only lost by 8. And if you actually that game, I really wanted the Rams to win that game, as most Ram fans want the Rams to win every game. If you go back and you watch it, the Rams actually outplayed the Packers in that game, minus those the gift of 2 points. And now that being said, Aaron Rodgers never had to do a lot that game because they had such a big lead early on. So he kind of got to coast to it. But I do believe that there is a game plan out there that the Rams beat the Packers in Lambeau in the playoffs. And, if we get there, I'd be stoked to see it.
Yeah.
We got lots of comments here. Thanks everyone for coming on in here. And yeah, Mr. Summer, yeah, we're well aware the Rams are in this comment here. He's saying, the Rams don't play football to get guys' record. One big problem is Odell is known for running inconsistent routes. And, again, with that, I think that comes back to learning the offense with Odell. And I don't think Rams Insider specifically meant that, like, the Rams had a meeting that's like, okay, one of our goals is to get Cooper Kupp the record. It was like, hey, he has an opportunity. Like, we'd be stoked to get him to do this.
We got to feed him the rock.
Yeah, no. I don't think they had a Could you imagine Sean McVay's like, okay, I don't care about winning. I want Cup to get the record. That Sean McVay would never have that meeting. This is also good that we're playing Monday night because OBJ does better on night. Oh, interesting. Never thought about that. Yeah, let's talk about. I'm not a fan of the Monday night game for many reasons. Number one, I wish there was football on right now. I wish there last year when they adopted this new playoff format and you had 3 games on the Saturday and 3 games on the Sunday. At the early window of the afternoon and then the late game. I thought that was awesome. Like, loved it. Now it's like Saturday, you're waiting around till 4 for football to start if you're in the East Coast. Then there's the night game. And it's like, okay, cool. And then Sunday, there's a full slate, of games. And then there's this one on Monday night that whoever wins that game is at a disadvantage the following week.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that. However, Rival does bring up a good point. Like, when you have your players that play in primetime night football, they show up, and that's kind of cool. But do you have any strong thoughts towards the Monday night game?
I think the Monday nights are really thrilling because night games I feel like are so much more exciting than day games. I feel like day games, they get the nice bright sun out, people are enjoying themselves, but at the same time, it's like night games, I'm in bed or I'm in my chair with some snacks or whatever, and I get to watch a night game where both teams can pop off. And I feel like in day games, teams don't really pop off as much as night games do. I would obviously watch a day game, but I definitely would prefer night game.
No, that's fair. And the reality is night games get more ratings and more money for the NFL. So that's why they do what they do. Yeah. Luis Sosa, welcome. Good to see you. He said, don't panic. Bring on the Niners. So he's in my camp where we want to see him in the playoffs. Yeah. Willie agrees. Speaking of the Niners, we got Corey Davis in here. Hello. Good to see you, Corey Davis. Another huge Niners fan. LaFonso here. He's saying, I hope McVay doesn't cost us in the playoffs calling the wrong plays. Yeah, that's a concern because he's had a couple of duds this year. Like those things where like there's some some game McVay is just so on it. Like he calls this masterful. It's like watching an artist, right? He calls a perfect game. But then there's other plays where it's like, oh my, this is like a train going down a hill, going into a lava pit, going into a black hole, going into like another dimension where no one knows anything. Is that like do you have any thoughts towards McVay's play calling?
Yeah, I think one of my videos I expressed that I think that McVay only focuses on his strengths and not his weaknesses. And I think that one of our weaknesses is that McVay focuses on his strengths, if that makes sense. I think that he focuses too much on what Matthew can do versus what our team can do, if that also makes sense. I feel like he only wants to focus on, okay, if we can throw deep, we got to know how to throw deep over and over. Like, no, you got to learn how to switch it up. Every team's going to know how to do that eventually. Every team's going to know how to cover that. Every team's going to know how to execute that on offense. So if you switch it up like the Ravens do, the Ravens are really good at running, and then they're going to pass when nobody expects them to pass the ball. Like that's a good game plan. The Ravens are really good at executing that, as well as the Packers. I know the Packers don't do that, but Aaron Rodgers will be running to the side. He'll pump fake and then just run straight in, and he's never touched. Like, it's that too. So I think that if we can focus on switching it up without anyone noticing, that's a good game plan. So I think McVay is he's gonna call the wrong plays here and there, but at the same time, he's got to learn how to not do the same thing over and over, because it even gets stale for the fans at that point. Like, it even gets stale. I know he's gonna toss deep. I'm just gonna skip this part. I know he's gonna toss deep. Oh, I know he's gonna pass in the red zone instead of running the ball. Like, it's just the same repetitive thing over and over. It's just not fun.
Well, and that's a fair criticism in regards to sometimes McVay changes his game plan too late in the game and to make those adjustments. And so, yeah, like seeing him be a little more proactive and changing up his play calling. And I know because McVay's the head coach, he often, gets criticized for coaching mistakes by even Raheem Morris on the defense, which that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
With that. But yeah, no, I don't know. I love McVay. I'm so glad he's our coach. I hope he's our coach for, the next 100,000 years, freeze him and let him coach from, a digitized brain. Let's do it. When he gets there. But, I don't think he's beyond criticism for sure. Mr. Summer has a great little comment here. He said, it's not so much the average interceptions all QBs throw that hurt Stafford. It's those WTF mistakes when taking a 10-yard sack is the right thing to do. Absolutely. Well said. There's definitely those times where you're like, just take this. No, you didn't take this sack. Oh no, it's it's a pick six. Great. And take the sack, throw it away. That's definitely what we, live to fight another down, right?
Most of the times it's a lot better to take a sack than throwing it. I mean, you could throw it away too, but it's more effective than if you throw it away, you have a chance of getting intentional grounding.
Well, as long as you're out of the pocket, right? And that's why I love it actually when we see, McVay call a play where he rolls Stafford out to the right or to the left, so that we, if he can go through his progressions, and as long as he gets decent protection, he can go through his three or four reads, and then if nothing's there, throw it away. Live to fight another day. I would love to see more of that in the playoffs, and I think that's when Stafford's at his best, to be honest. Eagles need to win so the Rams don't face the it's a last Savage gamer. He's kind of like you. He doesn't want to see the Packers and the fans. Lewis says, do or die with my team. The best is yet to come from our Dean offense. Our deep ball will finally get the and I've heard that a lot of Ram fans where they disagree with me, where I say, if this OBJ thing isn't working, I'm fed up with these arm punts. Like, just don't call it anymore, right? Like, Van can go deep. We're having more success connecting with him. Kupp can go deep. I'm more comfortable, going methodically down the field than going for these big chunk plays. But I've heard this from other Ram fans that are like, no, like, stick with it. Just watch. One of these passes are going to connect, and we're all going to go crazy. But I don't know. Like, how many deep ball passes to OBJ do you want to see against the Cardinals?
I would say 2. I would say 1 to test the waters to see where we're at with OBJ and the deep ball, because I feel like a lot of times when Matthew Stafford goes deep, if it's not to OBJ, it's going to work for some reason. At least from my perspective. If it's not to OBJ, it's going to work perfectly fine. But if it's to OBJ, it's like it just does not work. 0% chance it's going to land. And at the same time, I also think that I want to see a second deep ball pass, not when we're losing, but if we're losing, then obviously I'm going to want to see a deep ball pass to get ahead of the game. But I also want to see a deep ball pass if we're winning, to see if OBJ can catch a deep pass when we don't have a chance to lose, if we're winning by enough that we can just, play around, try and get the ball into the end zone, because whatever. And I would like to see that. I would like to see him finally mastered the deep ball catch and him being able to have that chemistry with Stafford, because when OBJ was on the Giants, I didn't really see him go deep much. He was running post routes, comebacks mainly, and I never really saw him go deep. He was a monster in the red zone, that too, and he wasn't really a deep threat. He was more of he can go deep if he needs to, but it's not his first option. So I would like to see at least 2 deep ball catches. And if it can't be OBJ, then fine. We have everyone else on that team.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So let's ask a non-Rams question, but still a great question here. Do you think we will see any major upsets during the playoffs, such as the Bucks losing to the Eagles? That, my friend, is a great question. I think there is a scenario where the Eagles beat the Buccaneers. I don't think that would be the biggest shock. I think the biggest shock would be if the Steelers beat the Chiefs on Sunday night. I don't see that happening. I think it would be a little bit of an upset, not as much as the Eagles beating the Bucks, but in this first game, if the Raiders beat the Bengals, that would be an upset. I could see that happening too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What about you? Do you have any big upset predictions this weekend?
Really, the only upset I see is the Eagles beating the Buccaneers. Everything else I see falling into place. I see Steelers losing to the Chiefs and being knocked out. Ben's career finally over. He had a long 19, 20 years. That was a good career for Big Ben. I will give him
Super
applause
Bowls,
for that. Yeah, I'll give him applause for that. I do see Buffalo going way ahead, but I do see that the Tennessee will also fly forward too. But really, the only upset I see is the Eagles beating the Buccaneers. So I feel like that's the highest chance of an upset. I don't see the Raiders beating the Bengals. I do see it being a close game, though. I do see that because I feel like the Raiders, depending on what you're doing with Las Vegas, they're a close team compared to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, he's gonna cook up in the red zone. He can go do whenever he wants to. We've seen that time and time again. But I've also seen Cincinnati lose with Jamar Chase doing that. So I probably the Eagles and the Buccaneers, but there is a possibility with Cincy and Las Vegas.
Yeah. Side note here: did you know that Big Ben was almost a Ram?
What?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. This is a little story time here. Okay, this is back in 2010. The Rams had the first overall pick. Who we selected Sam Bradford with, which, Sam Bradford, I hope you're healing well because you were always injured with us. But he made a lot of money. But at the time, Ben Roethlisberger was caught in a couple of scandals and had some off the field issues. And there were reports that the Steelers had possibly, and again, This is a little conspiracy theories, but there was enough reports that there was obviously some legitimacy to these findings. Is apparently the Steelers had inquired with the Rams of what it would take to trade up to the number 1 spot to get Sam Bradford, who at the time was a highly respected quarterback prospect, and every year there's always the hot quarterback that everyone wants, and Sam Bradford was that guy. And I remember thinking, like, okay, like, sure, at the time, Big Ben, he's got his, issues off the field, but man, this guy wins games. And I always wonder, like, what if the Ram, and it, at the time, Les Snead was not the general manager, because Les Snead probably makes that trade. But I always kind of wonder, what if, what would have happened if, Big Ben ended up being a Ram, right? And we would have had 10 years of Big Ben. Who knows? But anyway, that's my story time walk down memory lane here. Guys, we will take a couple of questions here. Thank you, everyone, for all these great comments and questions. We are coming to the end of our hour here. Wow, there's so many great. Oh, this is awesome. Well, while I'm looking for a couple of good questions here, Rams Insider, give a plug to your channel to all of our viewers here. What do you do on your channel? And if anyone subscribe to them, link in the description below.
So to everybody that's new, my name is Rams Insider. I do Rams content just like every other Rams fan you see out here. Payo Time, Rams House TV. Rams Talk, everybody there. I do the same exact thing. We talk about contracts, breakdowns, opinions, facts, thoughts, whatever I think is according to the Rams, LA Rams. So if you guys want to see a new, fresh YouTube channel on the Rams, we're trying to get the 500 subscribers. We're at 480 right now. So 20 more to go until 500. We can finally get that community value, and I can post not videos, but just community posts to keep you guys updated with everything else. But yeah. Thank you all who are watching me on this live stream as a guest. I appreciate everybody's support and much appreciated to everybody else here. So yeah, I am a Rams YouTuber. If you guys want to see any more Rams content, that's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I got a couple of comments here, and then we are going to end the show here. So Lewis says, we built this team to gel in the playoffs. So the stage is set for day or night, Sunday or Monday. Let's not panic for this. For the best is yet to come. And I think that's always something that's exciting about the the playoff football experience is we really don't know. We can analyze stats and everything like that. Like, for all we know, the Bengals are about to go on a Super Bowl run. Right? Like we really don't know. Or like the Raiders with an interim head coach go on a Super Bowl run, right? Like, we don't know what the story is going to be. And that's part of the fun of the NFL football, right? It truly is a story that's being written. And I guess my question I take from this comment for you, Rams Insider, is what are you hoping the Tuesday morning headlines are from the Rams Cardinals game? Like besides Rams win, but like, do you hope like it's like Super Cup, like Cup goes for 350 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns? Like what's your headline that you would give this? You're hoping this game gets?
Maybe Rams turning into a certified Super Bowl team. Maybe that the Rams are qualified for the Super Bowl. That could be a real big one. Just the Rams going to the Super Bowl, I think that would make me the happiest.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they win this game, they're 2 games away from the Super Bowl. So pretty stoked about that. Shout out to J8 Sports, a Bears content creator. He's just subscribed to you, so he's a great guy. You guys can maybe collab in the future. I think we'll end off with this question here from Terrence Smith saying, do you see OBJ coming back next year? What do you think?
If there's enough cap space, definitely. If there's enough cap space, because I mean, I don't think. Let's say there wasn't enough cap space to keep OBJ and Von Miller. Let's say that wasn't enough. I would keep OBJ over Von Miller because Robert Woods is injured. But if Robert wasn't injured, I don't know. If Robert wasn't injured, I don't know if I would want to keep. I don't know if I would want to keep OBJ over Von Miller if Robert wasn't injured. It's too hard of a choice because I feel like Robert can do more than OBJ, but OBJ can do more than Robert. It's the same exact thing. So I think that OBJ could come back next year. If there's enough cap space, definitely he's coming back. He did more than what he needed to do. He did more than what he had to do. And that could be who knows what that could turn into in the future. Could he get 1,000 receiving yards in the same season as Cooper? We don't know.
Yeah, I think the question lies, if OBJ wants top dollar or if he wants LA. Because I think OBJ loves LA. His potential for endorsement deals are very strong here. And so I think OBJ as a brand, and because he is self-conscious about that, and he has, he's got the publicist and the whole team to do that. I think that on that circumstance, there is a scenario where we see both Von Miller and OBJ stay with the Rams. It's just a matter of controlling the cap. But we've seen this Rams front office is a whiz with the cap this past year. A lot of the Rams players, they take pay cuts or they restructure their contract in order to make it happen. We have a ton of dead money coming off the books this year, which I'm stoked about. Like the Goff money's coming off. Brandon Cook's money is finally paid out. Todd Gurley's money is finally going to get paid.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to ask. Did we finish paying Todd Gurley yet?
No, we're still paying him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're actually one of my favorite Rams factoids of this year is we're paying Jared Goff more money than Matthew Stafford this year.
Wow.
To not play on the team.
Wow.
So it's kind of funny how it all works out, but we will see. Anyway, everyone, thank you. Oh, we got an evil robot. Get it there. Thanks, Jay. Reported. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Rams Insider. Friendly reminder, if you want to compete against myself and Rams Insider in the Payo Time playoff challenge and have a chance to win a $50 gift card to Fanatics, maybe Rams Insider can get a new shirt or a hat, then sign up. You have to sign up before the first game starts. That's coming up in less than an hour. So, deadline's ticking. I think we have 27 people in there. So you have a good chance. You have a good chance. J8 said he set his lineup. He wants to win so bad. Anyway, Rams Insider, stick around. I won't talk to you afterwards. But everyone else, thank you so much for watching. And as always, horns up, go Rams, and peace out.